Order the Thursday, May 8th, 2014 regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Present.
Freeholder Carter.
Present.
Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Granados.
Present.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Mirabella. Freeholder Wright. Vice Chairman Jallo.
Here.
Chairman Hudak.
Here.
Chairman, you have 7 freeholders present.
Thank you. Please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his Spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Chair wishes to announce that pursuant to requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2014, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2014 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2014 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you, Jim. First up tonight, we have a special presentation. Harry Delgado of the New Jersey State Association Chief of Police will make a presentation to our very own Sheriff Ralph Froelich on behalf of the Office of the Union County Sheriff as they formally receive the law enforcement accreditation from the New Jersey State Association Chief of Police. At this time, it's my privilege to call up our County Sheriff Ralph Froelich, as well as his undersheriffs. I believe I see Undersheriff Cryan, Undersheriff Petrillo, and is Undersheriff Green here as well?
Yes.
All right, come on out, guys. You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, freeholders. If you would indulge me for a second, I'd like to share with you, give you a little bit of perspective, perhaps some context as to the accomplishment of the Union County Sheriff's Office. Union County Sheriff's Office has achieved reaccreditation. To date, out of potentially 460 law enforcement agencies in the state of New Jersey that would be eligible to become accredited, only 115 are accredited. And that is because it's such a rigorous process. Now, your sheriff's office has done it twice. That's incredible. So if you would indulge me for a second, I'd like to explain to you what that means. Accreditation status represents a significant professional achievement. Law enforcement agencies seek accreditation as a way of assuring the public that the agency meets the highest standards for professionalism, training, and discipline. Accreditation is a progressive and time-proven way of helping law enforcement agencies calculate and improve their overall performances. The foundation of accreditation lies in the adoption of standards containing a clear statement of professional objectives. Participating agencies conduct a thorough self-analysis to determine how existing operations can be adapted to meet these objectives. Accreditation is a certification by an independent reviewing authority that a law enforcement agency has met specific requirements and prescribed standards. It is not a one-time event, but rather a process, as your sheriff's office has proven. Accreditation reflects that the accredited agency was carefully measured against an established set of state and national standards and has met, or in the case of the Union County Sheriff's Office, exceeded accepted practices in the field of law enforcement. There's many financial advantages that unaccredited agencies can claim, but I think most importantly, I should share with you that accredited agencies are better able to defend against lawsuits and citizen complaints. Accreditation provides objective evidence of an agency's commitment to excellence in leadership, resource management, and service delivery. Government officials can be more confident in the agency's ability to operate efficiently and meet community needs. Accreditation embodies the precepts of community-oriented policing. It forges relationships with its citizens. Accreditation standards give the sheriff a proven management system or written directives, sound training, clearly defined lines of authority, and routine reports that support decision-making and resource allocation. And finally, officers in accredited agencies are able to take pride that they have been objectively recognized for their professionalism and adherence to the highest standards. When we come here and put the agency through 2 days of very stressful and rigorous testing, we actually accept phone calls and feedback from the public. And in the case of the Union County Sheriff's Department, the phone calls highlighted the proactive activity of county activities from the Sheriff's Office and the support that they offer to local agencies, not only in many areas inclusive of investigations and arrestee transportation. Certainly they all stress the professionalism of the Union County Sheriffs. So without further ado, on behalf of the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police and the New Jersey Law Enforcement Commission, I congratulate Sheriff Ralph Froelich, Accreditation Manager, who's become a good friend of mine over the process, Patrick Hoare, the staff, his staff, and the staff of the Union County Sheriff, and those citizens they so proudly serve for achieving accreditation, joining a very exclusive group of law enforcement agencies that have made this important commitment to excellence in policing. So congratulations, Sheriff. Let me present you with the certificate. It is worthy of showing it and, with pride, and it reads, Union County Sheriff's Office, having fulfilled all of the accreditation standards as established by the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, is hereby awarded this 3-year certificate of accreditation. Congratulations again, Sheriff.
All right. I don't think you realize, the general public doesn't realize what this means. Law enforcement is service. That's its function, service. In 1959, some Congress decided to study law enforcement, and they found that law enforcement in general was not doing a very good job. And they did a whole study on it, and found that there was a lot of room for corrections, a lot of room to grow, a lot of room because we were not professional. We did not go to school. We did not study. And yet our function was becoming more difficult. Our functions were becoming more sensitive, more computerized. As a result of that, there were great suggestions made on how we could grow. And part of that was through certification. It ordered you to set standards for your agency. It ordered you to set a foundation on which your agency could grow. It forced you to improve your operation. And by the way, it's done with every one of our law enforcement agencies. 115 agencies alongside us. 115. By the way, where's the field? We are the only ones that didn't cost any money. Everybody else is costing a buck. In-house, I couldn't be happier. This group, you talk about young, bright people. I can bust my button. You know I'm not supposed to talk long, am I? I like talking about these people. I like it because they do a job. Under the direction of Joe and Pat and Maria, Cindy, Mike, this guy is the wonder he hasn't had a nervous break because he works so hard at what he does. Every one of them is there for me. This might be a little premature, but with this foundation, I expect to see this agency move again into higher plateaus of success and performance. Larry, I couldn't be prouder of anything we can do for you as a two-way street.
Thank you, Sheriff, and a job well done. Now we'll move into our agenda, and we'll begin with communications. And may I entertain a motion to approve communications?
So moved?
Motion was made by Freeholder Kowalski, and it was seconded by the Vice Chairman. Jim, would you kindly read the roll?
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. We have minutes to approve, and we have the agenda-setting meeting minutes from Thursday, April 3rd, and the regular meeting minutes of Thursday, April 10th.
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Estrada and seconded by Freeholder Carter. Jim, please read the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes as to April 3rd, abstain as to April 10th.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative with the exception of April 10th regular meeting minutes where you have 6 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention.
Thank you. The meeting is now open for the public for the purposes of commenting only on resolutions being offered for adoption. Kindly state your name, town of residence, and for the record, and the resolution to which you are referring, and also if you're representing an organization, if you'd let us know that as well, and adhere to the 5-minute time limit. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maria Mullen. I live in Cranford, New Jersey. I'm representing Jewish Family Services in Elizabeth. I am the Director of Nursing Service. Oh, and I'm here to speak on 2014-379, Peer Grouping Services. I'm the Director of Nursing Services at Jewish Family Services, and it's my pleasure to speak to you this evening on behalf of them. Jewish Family Services is a non-sectarian health and social service agency that provides vital services to the residents of Union County, regardless of race or religion, and we have proudly served the community for over 100 years. For more than 20 years, Jewish Family Services has been the fortunate recipient of peer grouping funds. These funds are used to help people who cannot be served through other grants or through insurance. Typically, it's the client who does not qualify for Medicaid, often just missing the cutoff by only a few dollars, or the chronically ill. And as you might know, Medicare does not cover home care for long-term care. Through this peer grouping program, Jewish Family Services in 2013 has provided 4,755 hours of service to over 150 clients aged 60 and over. However, thanks to peer grouping funds, we did not have to turn away Mr. J, a 57-year-old stroke victim, paralyzed on his left side. You don't have to be an older adult to experience a sudden health crisis. Or Mr. V, a 55-year-old paraplegic living alone in senior housing in Springfield, with very little family in the area. The in-home services we provide allow our clients to maintain their independence while aging safely with dignity in their home and in the community that they love. Some of the services that we provide are housekeeping services, up 2 to 4 hours a week of light housekeeping, which is laundry, food shopping, and housekeeping. Home health aid services, up to 6 hours a week, which provide personal care, light housekeeping, laundry, food shopping, meal preparation, as well as companionship. Registered nurse, offers health education, medication monitoring, safety assessments, nutritional counseling, as well as supervision and training of the home health aides. Social work case management provides counseling to address psychological issues as the clients cope with multiple medical problems and changing family relationships. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about Mrs. L, a 78-year-old woman living in senior housing in Union who recently lost her husband. Her only daughter lives in Las Vegas. She suffers from both COPD and congestive heart failure. She requires continuous oxygen, and even mild exertion causes her shortness of breath. Because of her breathing problems, it is difficult for her to attend to even some of her most basic needs. Jewish Family Services provides a home health aide 3 days a week to help her with bathing, grooming, laundry, meal preparation, and food shopping, and all that in 6 hours, 2 days, 2 days a week for 3 days a week for 2 hours it's a lot. It's a big task. An RN supervises the home health aide and checks on Mrs. L regularly for health monitoring, nutrition counseling, and home safety assessments. We also have a social worker who counsels her for her depression following the death of her spouse. And the social worker is working with the building management to apply for an apartment on the first floor of her building to help improve the quality of life and increase her socialization. Without the assistance of her certified home health aide, registered nurse, and social worker, Mrs. L would not be able to remain in independent living and would probably find herself in a long-term care facility. There's also Mrs. G, who is a 60-year-old woman living in a duplex in Hillside with her young adult daughter who is mentally ill. All other relatives live out of state or out of the country. Mrs. G is an insulin-dependent diabetic who has had her leg amputated below her knee because of the diabetes. She also suffers from depression and anxiety and has been receiving in-home counseling to help her develop a plan for her future, for herself and her daughter. Her home health aide has been her lifeline, providing her with compassionate personal care. We all know this was a really rough winter for everyone. Mrs. G was able to count on that home health aide who never missed one of her assigned days, which is really something to speak to.
I'm sorry, I have to ask you to conclude your comments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, it's fine.
Okay. Neither of these clients is eligible for Medicaid, Global Options, or the respite program. Oh, to finish?
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately.
well, I'm sorry.
We keep it to 5 minutes.
Okay, let me just, can I thank you? It's the end.
You can always thank us.
Okay. Okay. By continuing to support this program from the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, which would otherwise end on June 30th, we are, oh my God, we are providing a vital lifeline to our most vulnerable residents of Union County. We are most appreciative to the Board of Chosen Freeholders for providing, for allocating funding to this very important program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Come on up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Frank Brady. I'm the president of Center for Hope Hospice, located here in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and also servicing all of Union County with both in-home as well as our own residential care in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. As a registered nurse, I'm very proud to represent this agency with a more than 30-year history of servicing the community. And I have some comments about our services, but I don't want to get cut short before I thank you all for even considering extending the grant for this year. I have to tell you a little bit about what that means to our clients. We service people who are often medically indigent, as well as not having insurance or other funds to pay for their medications, for a home health aide visit, for the nurse to make sure that their pain is managed at home. For our medical director to provide the skilled medical oversight to make sure that their needs at the end of life are going to be met in the most compassionate and humane ways possible. This is what we do as a hospice agency. This is our mission. This is our mission for more than 30 years, and we're carrying it out in full even through today. Despite, as you've all experienced, many cuts in different kinds of funding, the funds that you give us go to help people who otherwise would not be able to access care, or in some cases would have to languish in a hospital that would be unable to discharge them because their lack of insurance would make them ineligible for many other kinds of services at home. We provide with this kind of money more than 1,000 days of services a year. And that's just the amount that for many years now the county has generously funded us for. We provide routinely 2,000 days a year of uncompensated care. The funds that you provided to us in the past and provide now, hopefully, go to extend that tremendously. So I could go on and talk more about the agency, but I'm really here mostly to acknowledge and thank our government for once for rising up and doing something which is almost unheard of in today's times of budget crisis, and that's to take a look at the needs of those who have less voice in the community and to help us together to meet those needs by providing us with some additional funding to do that. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
And we do appreciate the thanks, but what, I think the board would join me in expressing is we're glad to do it because it's the right thing to do, and we appreciate sincerely the services you provide to some of the most vulnerable residents in our county, and it's very important. It's a priority of this board, so thank you.
You're most welcome.
Good evening. I'm Gary Farr. I reside in Cranford. I am the president of the Union County Building Trades, which represents over 15 trade unions. I speak tonight in support of Resolution 408, mainly for two reasons. The inclusion of the apprenticeship language, which is a mandate from the Department of Labor, is certainly to benefit many of our members who are county members that work in the trades. It ensures that these apprentices get the proper training and the skill level that's needed to work on these construction projects. The other important part of this policy is the mandate that the contractors have the valid licenses, registrations, and certificates required to do the work. They're also assigned that they are assigned to, as well as the proper bonding levels. But the provision that they have not been debarred or not defaulted on any projects over the past 3 years is also a very strong component of this policy. I think it ensures that the residents of the county get the proper job that they're, required to do. And I think this is a very strong policy for the members of Union County. I want to thank Chairman Hudak and the board for this adoption of this bill, hopefully, and I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Good evening, Chairman Hudak, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood. Just running down some items. On page 2, the number 379, which is given $508,000 for the various community organizations, which is all a good cause, of course. But that second half of the resolution, and I don't think you talked about this last meeting when I was here, but it's further authorizing the county manager to transfer funds among the agencies during the contract period should service needs change or if any of the agencies fails to meet its contractual obligation. That actually raises some questions like what are the metrics of these failure to meet contractual obligations? Could you have somebody explain that? Who's the one that actually rules on whether they failed or not? That kind of leaves a lot open and needs some explanation. On the same page at the bottom, number 384 to 387, obviously Freeholder Mirabella is my favorite ones. It's modifying the budget, and Freeholder Mirabella always steals my thunder every time. But anyway, I'm not going to further the questions. He's not even here. But anyway, what I do want to ask about that, and possibly the director, Vivi Taylor, can explain, I guess this totals about $1 million. So what this is pass-through monies, and I understood that from the last meeting. But is that actually increasing the budget now? We had a $504 million budget that you voted on, and now it's $505 million. If somebody could confirm that. Page 3, on pages 389, page 3, item 389, all the way down to 393. This is money going to various ethnic groups for flag celebrations and parades and whatever their cultural events are happening. And just a couple of questions on that is I see different numbers of like 3,000, 4,000, 2,000. How are these numbers generated? If somebody could just explain the differing amounts. Number 394 at the bottom, and I'm going to have to warn you on this. So this is a resolution, and I'm not going to read it only because last meeting when I was here, I believe Under Sheriff Cryan was supposed to show up to present this to you. You pushed it back, and nobody showed up. And I don't think you can vote on this because it was never presented in a proper format. So, and I don't know where Under Sheriff Cryan was. He might have been sick, or he might have forgot it, or he was drunk, or maybe he was under the desk with another
You can
one.
have a seat now, sir.
But anyway, the question is,
You can have it.
I don't think you can vote on that.
I think
Bottom
you're
line.
out of line. You can have a seat now.
I don't think I'm out of line.
I think you are.
For what?
I think you're out of line. You can have a seat.
For what? I'm talking about a resolution that the fellow didn't show up, and I think that was a disgrace.
No, you did not.
It was a disgrace. Did he show up or not?
Have a seat.
Did he show up or not?
Have a seat.
Did he show up or not?
Have a seat, or you'll be shown the door.
Amazing coming from a political boss. Thanks.
Any other members of the public wishing to comment?
Tina Renner, Cranford, 388. Can you give a detailed explanation of how you're changing the internal position controls? What positions it's covering? What departments? Are you creating something new or shuffling something around? But what are the details? Thank you.
County Manager?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, these are positions that were formerly funded by grants, and with reductions on both federal and state level, there was a need to transfer these to county dollars.
Great. And those will be on file in the clerk's office?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I did want to jump back to 379. I have the Deputy Director of Human Services, and regarding to the failure to meet standards, if you could just give a quick explanation on that as well.
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chairman, with regard to this spending plan, this is standard language that are in many of our resolutions for spending plans. It affords us the opportunity to make changes during the contract year. Say, should service needs shift, priorities shift, and in particular, each contract, such as the two agencies that spoke here tonight, has a level of service associated with it. If an agency fails to meet its level of service midway through the contract, and we see that they won't through the course of the contract, we have the opportunity through this resolution to shift the dollars to an agency that funds an important service and would meet the level of service.
Thank you. Director, thank you very much. Director Taylor, just to give a quick explanation of those budget resolutions.
Good evening. Through you, Mr. Chairman. The resolutions to modify the 2014 budget are to receive special items of revenue. They do indeed increase both the revenue and appropriation side of the budget, bringing the total to $506,043,787.
Thank you. In regards to 394, you are correct that the undersheriff was unable to make the meeting, and he did contact us and told us he would not be able to be here. He did reach out to the board and offered to explain if there were any questions in regards to that resolution, which was covered at the end of the agenda meeting. So I'm sorry you were unaware of that. However, while any member of the public has the right to come up to speak at our meetings and ask questions on resolutions or speak at the end on any subject, you will maintain decorum. You will be respectful to the dais as well as the public officials in Union County, or you will sit down or be escorted out. Any other members of the public wishing to come up and speak? Okay, seeing no one else, I'm going to close that portion of the meeting. We're going to vote. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
375 to 2420. That was motion was made by the vice chairman, seconded by, I believe it was Freeholder Carter. Mr. Clerk,
That's what I had.
kindly read the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes to all with the exception of 2014-390.
Will that be a negative or abstention?
Abstention.
An abstain from 390?
Abstain, 390.
Freeholder Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
At all.
Chairman, I skipped Freeholder Kowalski. I apologize. Yes, we are. Sorry about that. Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative with all resolutions, with the exception of Resolution 2014-390, with 6 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention.
Thank you. The meeting is now open to the public for purposes of commenting on any matter. Kindly state your name, town of residence for the record, and adhere to the 5-minute time limit. Good evening,
My name
sir.
is Bruce Robinson. I'm a resident of Linden, New Jersey. The 4th Ward. I was one of the poll workers that were fired for this upcoming election. I was just wanting to know why, because I haven't received a letter or any type of explanation why I was fired. I worked the polls for 20 years in this building, and I've been replaced all of a sudden just for no apparent reason. I haven't been called. I've reached out to yourself and haven't gotten any type of response. So that's why I'm here this evening, to kind of get some kind of clarity on why we were fired.
Okay, well, I'm not very aware of why you were fired. I don't think anyone was fired. Did you receive any appointments this year?
I'm appointed to, I work the polls every election.
Okay.
And up until now, I haven't gotten anything, and I was told we were all fired.
I'm sorry you were told you were fired, but that's not a correct statement. Be happy to talk to you after the meeting, Mr. Robinson. Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Good evening, Chairman Hudak, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood, and I came up here and I was stopped for talking, and which is amazing because all of a sudden you talk about respect, and I'll tell you right now, you got to earn respect. I talked about crying, and has he ever been sick? Has he ever forgot? Has he ever been drunk? And has he ever had a woman under his desk?
You can have another, you can
We're talking
actually
about,
have a seat.
there's emails on him.
We're going to go beyond seat. I've told you once about.
I'll tell you right now, you're crossing the
Officer.
line in violating my constitutional rights.
No,
because
sir.
he was the one
No,
who
sir.
uncovered the emails. He was
Excuse
talking
me.
dirty to some woman,
Excuse
wanted to
me.
do things under
I
his
have-
desk, which obviously was in the county. No,
Officer.
I'll tell you right now,
Have enough.
you're the one. You can throw me out, but I'll tell you right now,
It's
you're
done, sir.
violating my rights because I'm bringing up facts. Facts, much like the one.
Sir, let's go.
You might as well bodily draw me out because I'm not leaving here until you draw.
Sir,
Get your,
just grab your stuff, please. Let's
only
go.
one of you. Okay, well.
Grab your stuff.
But I'll tell you right now, Hudak,
Microphone off, please, officer.
you're violating my rights.
Absolutely not, sir. You have the right to come up and speak. You do not have the right to come up here and violate the quorum. We're done, sir. We're done.
I'm telling you the truth, and that's what you're stopping me for.
Have a good night.
Definitely political boss. You're protecting your own. Circle wagon, protect your own.
Next member of the public wishing to speak.
Tina Renna, Cranford. You do have a double standard. I'm not condoning anyone's speech or anything, but I was here a few months ago when you allowed former Freeholder Sullivan to point to the crowd and say, "Don't listen to these idiots and whiners." as he was referring to myself and other citizens such as Bruce Patterson. And lo and behold, months later, Mr. Sullivan is found to have been giving himself an extra $2,500 a month payments and doling out payments to his underlings, and with unbeknownst to his commissioners at the Union County Utilities Authority. So that became an issue. And I hope you're staying on top of that. I don't have high hopes of it, since the previous meeting in April, you signed a shared service agreement and gave him even more authority over tax dollars. And apparently he doesn't even know how the system works, despite being a freeholder for almost 20 years. He thought he could just write checks to himself and his underlings. So there are issues here. There's a reason why there's a lack of respect. I try and be respectful, but honestly, you're not respectful to the public. So you do have to earn respect. And I believe you owe the former gentleman who got up here and asked a question about why he was fired at the polls, I believe you owe him a public explanation. He took the time to come here tonight and ask you in a public forum during a public meeting why this occurred. You, Freeholder Hudak, are in charge of the poll workers in Linden, because you are the Linden chairman, Democratic chairman. So you're who you want at those polls supersede anyone that was there for X amount of years. So you know the answer to why those people were fired, and it is a big scandal. I did get an email on that. You have the answer, and you owe the public an answer. In your capacity as freeholder, you owe the public an answer. What is this power you're evoking over these Linden elections? It's the system. I believe you're working within the system, but you can explain that to the public, how exactly the system works. You wanted these poll workers replaced, and you had them replaced as chairman. If not, refute it. But don't do it after the meeting. He asked you publicly. You should answer him publicly. Let us all hear the answer. I attended a public meeting on April 23rd, the matter of your Lieutenant Puchel. He's fighting his loss of 90 days suspension for taking home a generator during Superstorm Sandy. And a lot was revealed. I don't have time to go into the whole thing, but I would hope that you would pay attention to the transcripts of that hearing. Unfortunately, none of you were there to pay attention to what was going on, because it was quite alarming. It was revealed that your Director of Emergency Management really didn't know what was going on in Kenilworth under Purcell's division. He had no idea what was going on. This is what was revealed in testimony. Nobody refuted it. So hurricane season is right around the corner. I don't suggest that you would wait until this matter is resolved to do something about that. I would. I don't know who's in charge here. Who's in charge? Is someone in charge of that? Raise your hands, because I could tell you nobody was in charge during that hurricane. Despite their losing $800,000 in equipment in Irene, no one had a plan in place for what was going to happen at that Kenilworth location. So those officers were in charge of putting things into their own hands, and they responded admirably, but it had nothing to do with your emergency management planner. He had no plan. He had no communication with them. He had no idea what was going on over there. Total disgrace. And I wonder if he has a plan now, and if you're going to enact that before the next emergency comes. And that's it. And the public is owed an explanation for that too. Disgraceful. The position those officers were put in was disgraceful. And just like you're disrespectful to the public, you're disrespectful to your employees for putting them in that position. Oh, I'm not thanking you, so I can't go over my time limit.
You're over your time limit.
And I don't approve of what Bruce said, but you did violate his rights. And I wouldn't be surprised if the ACLU is back here. You cannot stop people from speaking because you don't like what they're saying.
Have a seat.
You allowed the woman to thank you over the time, but you don't like what I'm saying, so I have to sit down. That's a right violation. You're violating the rights. Answer the gentleman from Linden.
Really?
Answer.
Have a seat.
Answer.
Have a seat. Ms. Renna, as a Republican committee woman, as I'm aware that you are, I'm sure you're aware that the municipal chairman, partisan office, which has no relation to my freeholder position, has the ability to appoint up to 2 poll workers in any position. And I'm sure the Republican chairman of Cranford exercises that authority as well. It has nothing to do with my position here as being a freeholder or being the chairman of the freeholder board. So I'll be happy to discuss that matter with the gentleman, but it has nothing to do with this public meeting or what we're discussing. And as a Republican committee woman in the Township of Cranford, I'm sure you're aware of that. Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Yeah, John Berry, Kenilworth. I have a question, but you don't answer, so I won't even ask. It was fairly obvious, and I was going to make the same point the prior speaker made, that when you're being thanked, take all the time you want. But Bruce Patterson got 30 seconds, and he was quoting from a Star Ledger article even. It does have a chilling effect, because there are a number of people who would rather, they just got their whatever huge tax increases. Westfield was killed. I mean, it was destroyed. And nobody can come up here and complain because they will be out of line. That's the clear message you're giving today. Now, there's an awful lot to complain about, but if I were to ask, for example, are you stealing the Open Space Trust Fund money? I mean, that's actually, I don't know if it's criminal. It's New Jersey, so it's really difficult to even label that criminal. But that is something I'd really like to look into. But would that be over the line because I'm implying corruption or bad accounting or actually I have a lot of those. And right now Bruce Patterson probably had 4.5 minutes more of stuff that we won't hear. Just because you didn't, as the final arbiter of what is allowed. If anything, you might want to set up some rules for yourself, too. Like there have been several occasions when I've walked off this podium and heard, words. I mean, I don't know if they were curse words because I was walking, but there's a certain level of discourse, and I think answering questions is included in that. I think it's a wise decision you made to start answering questions. I thought otherwise, we'd be. I think that actually has helped, and you should continue that. But as far as cutting off someone just because they pretty much quote the Star Ledger, I mean, where does it end then? Is the Star Ledger out of line? Is anyone out here who complains out of line just based on your terms? There are going to be a lot more people. I mean, anybody who gets $500,000 from you is not going to complain. But anybody who pays double the taxes than their neighbor in Chatham pays is going to complain. And I think you should brace yourself for that and not, if anything, learn from it. I mean, there are a lot of good suggestions. I mean, not giving $1 million to Dakotas, and maybe if you'd listened or before, we wouldn't be paying $15 million for solar panels right now. I mean, there's a lot to be learned from the people here, even Bruce, or the people recently thrown out of here. And I think you should listen.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing no more, I will close that portion of the meeting. And I will just say, the first time Mr. Patterson spoke, he was told he was issuing a personal attack and was being instructed, and he was told to stop, and he was told to sit. The second time, which had nothing to do with public business of the county, it was a personal attack. And while you do have the right to come up, sir, I mean, you were polite, though wholly incorrect in your statements, you have the right to come up and say those things, as long as you maintain proper decor. As long as you are not disruptive to the meeting, you have the right to come up and say what you want. This is America. But you do not have the right to turn a public forum into a public circus. And with that, we're going to move to Freeholder comments, and I'm going to start with Freeholder Bergen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say
briefly, Mr. Chairman, I support you in your actions. I think they were appropriate. What Mr. Patterson said was not a complaint. It was not a comment. It was a personal attack having nothing to do with the government or the people of Union County, and that is why it was inappropriate. Not because it was negative, but because it was a personal attack having nothing to do with the agenda or the government. On a more pleasant note, as was actually seen in today's agenda, County of Union has partnered and continues to partner with many local nonprofits to provide services to the residents of Union County. And just last week, we had a very good turnout at a new function called Doing Good Better. It was a conference among many of the nonprofits in Union County. It was the first time this event has been held. Hopefully it will be annual. It was very well attended. I had a chance to be there for a while at the beginning, and it was a very good opportunity for the nonprofits in the county that work with the county and with each other to get together and talk about ways to help each other. Additionally, I want to mention that there are some community outreach efforts going on by some of the nonprofits in the county right now. Yesterday, Trinitas Hospital and also Jewish Family Services, which was here today, had an event in Cranford where they were presenting information about their programs to the public. Also, on May 16th, the Urban League, the Salvation Army, and the Gateway Family YMCA will be holding public events here in Elizabeth, also to share information, in particular about emergency housing and other assistance that those three agencies give. And then on May 23rd, the Freeholder Board is sponsoring a free event on injury prevention and other guidance for seniors in partnership with Union County College and the Psi Beta Honor Society. There'll be free blood pressure screening at that event, and information available on home care, caregiver services, and other services for seniors. So anyone who's interested in that can call the Division of Aging at 888-280-8226 for more information on that May 23rd event. I also very briefly want to mention it's Resolution 2014-383, which on its face may not be clear exactly what that does, but it has to do with a recommendation from this board to the United States Army Corps of Engineers concerning flood mitigation efforts here in Union County. And quite coincidentally, earlier this week, the National Climate Change Report came out and told us what I think many of us already know, and that is that climate change is already here. We've had more severe flooding in Union County in the last 3.5 years than maybe the 20 years before that or the 50 years before that. And what the resolution I mentioned does is to endorse certain efforts by the United States Army Corps of Engineers towards a solution to the flooding problems countywide. Just briefly, the United States Army Corps of Engineers has been looking at this problem for a number of years, and about 6 or 8 weeks ago issued a preliminary report documenting 10 possible solutions to flooding problems up and down the Rahway River, starting up in Essex County and coming down all the way through Union County and to Rahway. The Army Corps and the New Jersey DEP presented those findings to the county and asked that we, along with some other groups, there's a mayor's group, make recommendations on what we believe would be the best solutions. This is the Freeholder Board's formal endorsement of 2 of the solutions, which are not coincidentally the same ones that have been endorsed by the mayor's group, which encompasses groups all from Essex County and Union County. And the reason that that's important is because if there is a common political will across the municipalities and the counties to seek certain solutions, they have a much better chance of getting funded, and they have a much better chance of getting funded more quickly. It's going to be a slow process, But the more consensus there is, the quicker it can happen. So I believe that Union County is headed in the right direction, along with our municipalities in Essex County, towards trying to find a long-term solution to the flooding along the Rollway River. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Bergen. Freeholder Granados, any comments?
Yes. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of attending the Elizabeth Firemen's Play Ball for Miracles softball charity tournament at Warrenango Park. It was definitely a great event. One major thing they've done over the past 8 years is raise over $100,000 to support the local Children's Miracle Network Hospital's beneficiary, Children's Specialized Hospital, with the help of generous donations from sponsors, including the Elizabeth, New Jersey Firemen's Federal Credit Union and Wakefern. Also, I just want to congratulate, tomorrow we'll have 3 Union County police officers from Elizabeth, Scotch Plains, and Fanwood, honored at the 200 Club of Union County with Valor Awards. So definitely want to give them a great commendation, and definitely done a great job in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to extend my congratulations to Sheriff Froelich and all of the Sheriff's Department on the accreditation. It reflects well on not only on them, but on all of our public safety people in Union County, and we know they're going to continue to do excellent work. Also, thanks to our building trades representatives who came today. We're proud of the work that we've done, and this resolution I know is going to help in making sure that buildings are built properly and with all the correct paperwork and people who are properly trained to do that. Thanks also to our nonprofit representatives who came today. I am on the Human Services Advisory Council and have had conversations with a number of our nonprofit partners who told me that they would have had to severely cut their services if they did not have the funding from the county to make up for the peer grouping cuts from the state. So we're committed to keeping all of the services that our residents need in Union County, and we appreciate the work from all of our partners from the nonprofit agencies. I also was at a Senior Citizens, Union County Senior Citizens Council luncheon earlier today. We have a resolution from Chairman Hudak about that on today's agenda, and just want to remind everybody that May is Senior Citizens Month, and we really encourage everyone to take time to honor the senior citizens that you know. We know that in emergencies, people often will check up on seniors in their neighborhood, but we all have a lot to learn from the experience and wisdom of the seniors that we know here in Union County. Another note about the economic picture in the county is that New Jersey Transit announced that they are going to extend the one-seat ride service. I've spoken about this before, the direct service on the Raritan Valley rail line, so that you don't have to change in Newark. And we have a pilot program of 5 trains a day in off-peak hours between the morning and evening rush hours now, and that is to be extended to evening hours at some point in the fall, so we're looking forward to that. We would like, of course, to have a one-seat ride on all of these trains, but there's not enough room in the tunnels for us to do that at this point. There is a project in the works that may provide the tunnels to do that, and we look forward to the day when those will be done. But in the meantime, the one-seat ride will be extended in the fall, so that's a good development. And certainly it's been shown for other rail lines that have had a one-seat ride that it improves the economic picture. It improves both residential and commercial property values along the line, and it'll be a big help. Teen Arts Show happened a couple of months ago. We've got the showcase coming up on May 14th at the Union County Performing Arts Center, 7 o'clock. And I encourage people to come to that. Our teams are so talented, so enthusiastic. I know it's going to be a great show. And we had our employee arts show this week. We've got the senior arts show coming up in June. So lots going on as usual. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Kowalski. And again, thank you for your work in regards to the One Seat Ride. And we're very happy to see its expansion, and keep up the good work. Freeholder Carter.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to take an opportunity to first thank all of our youth that are here in Union County who have been working really hard over the last 6 weeks for the project that they came up with, Support for Soldiers. And the project has another week to go. It will be ending on May 15th. We have collection boxes still around. If anyone is interested and would love to still make a donation, you can go onto our website, ucnj.org, to help the community service project that all of our youth here in Union County have taken on and have implemented from start, and they will take it all the way to the end. So on behalf of them and the county, I'd like to invite everyone to the Westfield Armory at 500 Broadway Avenue in Westfield on Sunday, May 18th, for a very special event from 12 noon to 3 o'clock. We are going to have a Support for Soldiers packing day. All of the wonderful items that they've been able to get and have collected, and we have over 1,000 items, we will be packing up in the boxes to mail off to our soldiers who are active in the military. There will be refreshments, entertainment, vehicles, and equipment on display, and it will also be an opportunity to meet some of our soldiers. High school students from our UC STEP Youth Leadership Program will be there putting care packages together to send to all of our soldiers overseas, as many that we can get packed and shipped out. They've collected, again, over thousands of toiletries and other basic items in our countywide campaign, and I am truly proud of all of them that have participated and who have really gone the 10th mile. They've done such an outstanding job in bringing this program really to where it is today. They should all be commended, and I do that. We need your help, though, also. If you can come out, please join us again on May 18th at the Armory. But if you can't make it there and you still like to make a donation, we actually have 31 collection boxes here around the county, in county buildings and public buildings. You go to our website, ucnj.org, and there is, down in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a nice little Support for Soldiers. Click on it, and it will take you also to all the locations that we have some of the boxes placed for collections. So please, if you still have an opportunity to help and support our youth, also you will be supporting our soldiers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Freeholder Carter. Freeholder Estrada.
Mr. Chair, I would like to bank my time without any condition today to statements, but I'll make sure that I get them back before December 31st. Thank you.
I understand.
Thank you for indulging me, sir.
I understand, and
Yes, I will.
I know you will, Freeholder, and I hope you feel better. County Council, any comments this evening?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, County Council. County Manager?
Yes, I have one comment, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to assure members of the public that the County of Union does have an emergency management plan under the direction of our Public Safety Director, Andy Moran, our Emergency Management Coordinator, Chris Couturo, and his Deputy, Bill Kane. That plan is submitted to the state and approved on a regular basis. In addition, we have training sessions, both internally and mock drills, to make sure that those plans are updated, and we practice and make sure that the safety of the citizens of Union County is always protected. Just wanted to make that comment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, County Manager. Vice Chairman, any comments?
Yes, first let me wish that Freeholder Estrada takes good care of himself and gets better, because that sounded horrible. Second, I just want to respond to some of the statements made by members of the public with regard to you responding to comments that were made to the days that really didn't have much relevance to the Freeholder meeting and what's happening here. Although I do believe that the speaker who came here genuinely wanted to speak with you about something, and I hope you do what you said, which is speak with the speaker offline. Certain things are not appropriate to be discussed here or to be brought here or signify or dignify rather a response. I mean, it's tantamount to someone potentially coming to the microphone requesting a response as to why they got an F in my class or something that I did wrong in a lawsuit or some case that I have. I mean, there are things that are separate and there are things that are not necessarily part of this meeting. So I commend you on that and your other responses today. People certainly disrupt the meeting and come here with a clear goal and purpose in mind to be disruptive and refuse to take their seat when asked and requested, and they know what they're doing. And those who are in the audience and those who are watching it at home, you know, they know it, and we all do. And so I commend the Freeholder chairman on his responses today. Although there is a right for them to express themselves, they do not have the right to disrupt the meeting and to make statements attacking individuals. That right does not exist, no matter how many times they assert that it does. I also want to commend the Freeholder chairman, I'm just commending you today, on your initiatives with regard to health and wellness as a top priority here in Union County. And in that vein, I paid attention to Assembly Bill number 1978, which really caught my eye in this article in the Star-Ledger. This bill, which was set for a committee hearing today, would ban smoking on the grounds of any institution of higher education, public or private. With Union County being home to both Kane University and Union County College, this is a bill that would benefit and enhance the quality of life for students, faculty, and staff at both of these institutions. The board has recognized the harmful effects of smoking for quite some time now. In fact, in 2010, the Freeholder Board amended the no smoking policy in county-owned buildings to include all county-owned recreational areas and facilities. And late last year, the county installed Breathe Easy signs in those areas in order to reiterate our commitment to ensuring our residents safe and enjoyable recreation spaces. So I will keep the residents informed. I will keep all of you informed as to the progress with this bill and report to you all in that regard. Thank you, Chairman, that's all.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. And rest assured, I'll speak to the gentleman after the meeting, and you know, if there's anything we can do in terms of his position of poll work, or we'll talk to Dennis Kovas over elections. But as you said, it's not something that we're going to discuss here because it's not a private meeting. This is about county business and the public's business. Just a few comments. First of all, I wanted to thank the officers of the Elizabeth Fire Department. Freeholder Kowalski and I had the opportunity to participate in a demonstration earlier this week at the Union County Fire Academy, and it was a wonderful experience. They demonstrated a lot of the life-saving equipment they use, from showing us how to extract someone from a car to the very difficult job they have fighting fires, and the tough job putting all that equipment on and trying to save a life entails. So we just got a little bit of a taste of it, but you really have to respect the men and women who fight fires around Union County professionally and as volunteers when you put on the equipment and try to walk, you know, even only a few feet in their shoes. So we do thank them for that. And also I do want to thank the members of the Union County Building Trades for coming out here tonight. And we appreciate the long-standing partnership we have with you. You know, the saying with union labor is, if you want the job done right, you want it done on time, you want it done on budget, you bring in union labor. And so this board has had a long-standing commitment to working with the building trades here in Union County, and we hope to continue that as well as strengthen that relationship. And I think this resolution tonight, in terms of you know, trying to make sure bad actors in Union County, contractors who have had problems elsewhere don't get involved in public projects in Union County. 'Cause we want to make sure that our working conditions are right, that our workers in Union County are taken care of. It's right, it's fair, and we're proud to do it. And that leads us into, a very proud announcement for me is that we broke ground on two significant projects this week. The first was the vocational technical school in Scotch Plains, and also the new stadium complex in Warnaco Park, which are both part of our 2014 initiatives. The first was Tuesday, when we celebrated the expansion of the district's 4-year full-time Union County VOTEC High School. It will be complete in September, and with more than 300 students expected to use the facility. It's a 38,000 square foot addition, including 10 new classrooms, 2 new computer labs for biology and chemistry physics, a faculty room, administrative office, and a 1,200-foot fitness center with adjoining health classroom. We're expecting that the next generation of entrepreneurs, builders, and creators will be educated in this school, and we're proud to be investing in our children's future. This investment has already paid off, as the vocational technical school has already won 5 National Blue Ribbon Awards for educational distinction. The next groundbreaking was yesterday in Roselle, though we did have the mayor of Elizabeth too, because it's sort of a shared facility, and it was held at Warnaco Park for our stadium improvements. The new stadium facility will be finished by the end of the year and will be home to a new improved 8-lane running track, a multi-use turf field for soccer, football, and track, new bleachers, stadium concessions, and laboratories. The bleachers will seat more than 600 with ADA spots for persons with disabilities. Additional parking spaces will also be created. Warnaco Park is packed with an amazing amount of attractions where for the past 90 years or so, residents have made memories every day in the Olmsted Park, which is just a jewel for Union County and its residents. With these improvements, we will continue to make new memories over the next 90 years. So with that, I want to thank everyone for coming this evening, and I'll be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Carter and seconded by Freeholder Estrada. All in favor?
Aye.
We are